Picture this: Hollywood, 1997. A charity martial arts exhibition is about to become the most legendary showdown nobody saw coming. Steven Seagal, at the peak of his fame, ego inflated like a hot air balloon, stands in the center of a crowded room, microphone in hand, tearing down Chuck Norris with every word. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Some laugh nervously. But Chuck? He just sits there, silent, eyes fixed on something far away. Maybe a memory, maybe a decision being made in real time. What Siegel doesn't know, what he can't possibly know, is that he's about to poke a sleeping dragon. Not the Hollywood version, the real thing. The man who earned his black belt before most people knew what a black belt was. The man who fought full contact when full contact meant you left on a stretcher or on your feet, nothing in between. This is the story of how arrogance met humility in the ring, and only one walked out unchanged. This is the story of a lesson delivered not with words, but with fists, discipline, and the kind of justice that leaves a mark on your soul. The Beverly Hills Hotel ballroom glitters under chandeliers, a charity event for underprivileged youth martial arts programs. Everyone who's anyone in the action movie world is here. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Cynthia Rothrock, Michael Jai White, and the two titans, Steven Seagal and Chuck Norris. Seagal arrives fashionably late, his black silk jacket catching the light, ponytail swinging with each confident stride. He's riding high on a string of box office hits. Under Siege, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death. The press calls him the new king of action, and he believes it. God, does he believe it. Chuck Norris sits at a corner table, nursing a ginger ale, dressed simply in slacks and a button-down shirt. He's semi-retired now, focusing on his foundation, his family. He hasn't made a movie in 2 years. To the younger generation of stars, he's yesterday's news, a relic, the guy their dads watched. But to those who know, really know, Chuck Norris is something else entirely. 6-time undefeated karate champion, the man who trained with Bruce Lee, who fought in an era when tournament fights were blood sport dressed up with rules barely enforced, who earned every single one of his accolades in sweat, pain, and relentless discipline. Seagal doesn't know this, Chuck. He only knows the aging actor who said no to a movie collaboration last year. And that rejection stings like a slap. The MC calls Seagal to the stage for a speech. It's supposed to be about the charity, about giving back, about inspiring kids. Instead, Seagal takes the microphone and decides it's time to settle old scores. You know, he begins, voice dripping with faux humility, there's a lot of so-called masters in this room tonight. Legends, they call them. He pauses for effect. But let's be honest. Some of these legends are built on Hollywood magic and camera tricks. Some guys couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag if you gave them a head start. The room goes cold. Everyone knows who he's talking about. Every eye drifts to Chuck's table. I mean, Chuck Norris, Seagal continues, his grin widening. Great guy, sure. But come on, he fought in tournaments 40 years ago. 40 years. I'd love to see him step into a real fight today. My Aikido would have him tapping out in 30 seconds flat. Maybe less. I'd be gentle, though, out of respect for the elderly. Laughter ripples through the room, nervous, uncertain laughter, the kind that happens when people don't know whether to be entertained or appalled. Chuck doesn't react, not a flinch, not a blink. He just takes a slow sip of his ginger ale, sets it down with precision, and stands. The room falls silent as he walks toward the stage with the calm of a man who's already won. Steven, Chuck says quietly, his voice carrying despite its softness. If you'd like to demonstrate your Aikido against my antiquated karate, I'd be happy to step into the ring with you. For the kids, of course, all proceeds to the foundation. The crowd erupts. This is gold. Unscripted. Real. Seagal's grin falters for just a fraction of a second. He didn't expect this. The old man was supposed to sit there and take it, maybe shake his head and let it go. But here he is, calling his bluff in front of 200 people and a dozen cameras. Pride won't let Seagal back down. You're on, Chuck. Tomorrow night, let's make it a real exhibition. Full contact, light gloves. Let's show these people what real martial arts looks like. Chuck nods once. Tomorrow night. As Chuck walks away, Seagal tries to laugh it off, but his hands are shaking slightly as he raises the microphone. Somewhere deep in his gut, where instinct lives beneath ego, he knows he's made a terrible mistake. That night, Chuck sits in his home dojo, alone under a single overhead light. The heavy bag hangs motionless before him. His wife, Gina, appears in the doorway. "You don't have to do this," she says softly. Chuck stares at the bag, remembering. The tournaments in the 70s, the broken ribs, the concussions before anyone called them concussions, the fights that went on until someone couldn't stand. He remembers earning every belt, every title, not through politics or movie star power, but through blood and discipline. He remembers his sensei's words. A true warrior never seeks battle, but when challenged unjustly, he responds not with anger, but with precision. You teach through action, not words. "I know," Chuck finally says, "but some lessons can only be taught one way. And maybe there are kids out there who need to see that humility and discipline will always beat arrogance and flash. Always." He stands, bows to the dojo, and begins his kata. Even at 60-something, his movements are liquid metal, sharp, controlled, devastating. This isn't Hollywood choreography. This is the real thing, the muscle memory of 10,000 hours of training that never fades. The next night, a local gym is packed to capacity. Word spread like wildfire. Every martial artist in LA wants to witness this. The ring is regulation size, canvas stretched tight, ropes humming with tension. Seagal enters first to thunderous applause from his fans. He shadowboxes, throws spinning kicks, plays to the crowd. He's put together a highlight reel in his mind, how he'll sweep Chuck's legs, lock in a wrist control, make the old man tap while the cameras roll. Then Chuck enters. No fanfare, no theatrics. Just a simple bow to the corners and a calm walk to his corner. He wears a plain white jai top and black shorts. His hands are wrapped, his face serene. The bell rings. Seagal rushes forward, attempting a flashy spinning back kick. Chuck sidesteps with minimal movement, lets it pass harmlessly by. Seagal tries a wrist grab, his signature Aikido move. Chuck's hand is gone before Seagal can close his grip, and suddenly there's a jab, not hard but precise, against Seagal's jaw. A warning shot. Seagal blinks, confused. That wasn't supposed to happen. He tries again. Harder, more aggressive. Chuck responds with decades of tournament instinct. A low kick to the lead leg that makes Seagal's knee buckle. A perfectly timed counterpunch that snaps Seagal's head back. Nothing brutal. Nothing meant to injure. But every technique is textbook perfect, delivered with the timing of a man who spent his entire life mastering this craft. By the second round, Seagal is breathing hard, his silk jacket long discarded, his confidence evaporating with each beat of sweat. Chuck, meanwhile, breathes steadily, his movements economical, his eyes calm. He's not angry, he's teaching. The third round ends with Seagal on his back, Chuck's hand extended to help him up. The fight, if you can call it that, is over, not with a knockout or a submission, but with the undeniable reality that one man is a true martial artist and the other is an actor who believed his own press. In the locker room afterward, Seagal sits alone, ice pack pressed to his jaw. His entourage is conspicuously absent. The cameras have moved on. The crowd has dispersed. In the silence, the truth settles in like a weight on his chest. There's a knock. Chuck enters, still in his GI, barely a mark on him. "You okay?" Chuck asks. Seagal can't meet his eyes. "You humiliated me." "No," Chuck says firmly, but not unkindly. "You humiliated yourself. I just showed up and did what I've been doing for 50 years. There's no shame in losing to someone more experienced. The shame is in disrespecting the art, in disrespecting those who paved the way. Martial arts isn't about ego, Stephen. It's about discipline, respect, and constant growth. You forgot that, or maybe you never learned it." Chuck places a hand on Seagal's shoulder. "You've got talent, real talent, but talent without humility is just noise. Learn from this. Be better tomorrow than you were today." He leaves. The door closes softly, and in that moment, Sitting alone in a locker room that smells like liniment and pride, Steven Seagal has a choice: grow or harden, learn or blame. Only he knows which path he'll choose. The footage from that exhibition mysteriously never went wide. A few clips surfaced over the years, whispered about in martial arts circles. But the story became more legend than fact. Seagal continued making movies. Chuck continued his foundation work, teaching kids that discipline and character matter more than fame. But those who were there never forgot what they witnessed. It wasn't just a fight. It was a master class in the difference between wanting to be respected and earning respect, between talking loudly and walking quietly with a big stick. Here's the truth the universe keeps teaching us over and over. You can't fake mastery. You can't shortcut character. And when you mistake confidence for competence, eventually reality shows up to correct you. Sometimes with fists, sometimes with life, but always with the same lesson. The quietest people in the room are often the most dangerous. Not because they need to prove it, because they don't. Never mock those who've already walked through fire. They're not quiet because they're weak. They're quiet because they have nothing left to prove.